Well, we got a few minutes till we get started, but um, oh, guess I better turn my phone on Do Not Disturb so nobody disturbs me. Hey, get those scam calls. Hey, Lito. All right. The funny thing is, I've been doing this with my finger the whole time, but I found this on the back of the TV. I guess it's a little pin, but I'm not sure, so I'm gonna use it. All right, so I guess we'll just go ahead and get started. If more people show up, then that's pretty good. All right, so Alito, Achima Chugma, Chugma. All right, so I haven't seen you guys since last year, which I hope you guys have been studying, and I hope you guys have been practicing. If not, that's okay. We got new people here, which is Halito. Nice to see you guys. Glad you could make it. So I guess for new beginning, new year kind of sake, I just want to kind of reintroduce myself. So Anoti Sahochifu Mukachilachi. So Sahochifu ya Joshua Dani, Atoka Amitili, Atoka Atali, Chakasha Iyagni Intok Salile. Um, see, Amafu, Hochifuyat Jasper Scott, Sapuni, Hochifuyat Savannah Scott. Chata Nopa Ikanalina Tuchi Afami Tuchina Una. So basically, what I was saying was like, again, I'm going to say my name. My name is Joshua Daney. I live in Atoka. I'm from Atoka. My grandfather is Jasper Scott. My grandmother is Savannah Scott. And I've been learning Choctaw for a little over 3 years now. I guess it'd be a little past, like, I think June, July time frame would be 4 years. 2020. Yeah, 4 years. I forgot how long I've been learning Choctaw. So if you guys don't remember, usually we start out with a phrase, but I didn't put it up here just yet because every time we usually start, everybody gets here early, and so everybody gets to see it before everybore else comes in before we start. So I wanted to do it while everyone is here. Pretty simple and easy. Halito, Hachimatukma, Akachipiso na hupa kitaha. Halito, Hachimatukma, Akachipiso na hupa kitaha. So does anybody have a guess what that could mean? Start with Halito. Hey, no, I was kidding. Everyone should know that one. How about Hachimatukma? How are you all doing? Yeah. How are you all? Because we just said Chimatukma. I'll be talking to who? One person, right? So that's why I say Hachimatukma, saying you all. How are you all doing? Okay? And then this phrase right here. Ak hachipisona hupa kitaha. So what do you think that means? Yeah, I haven't seen you in a while, but it's not just you, it's you all. Because if it was chi, then it would be, I haven't seen you in a while or a long time. But I'm saying hachi, I haven't seen you all in a long time. And so I haven't seen you since what? The middle of December? Something like that? Or was it November? Ah, first part of December. So I haven't seen you since then. So remember that if we just take this hachi out, it would be akpiso. That means I didn't see. And then hachi refers to you all. So now it's saying ak hachapiso. I didn't see you, or I didn't see you all. And this na here acts as a time marker. So it's like saying oh, you say na, and now there's a time that's going to be happening. So hopakitaha, that means a long time, long time. Of course, hopaki just means a long time, or it could also mean far away. Like you can say, I don't know, California, hopaki, like it's way over there, or something like that. But in reference to time, it means like a long time. So hopakitaha, when you put that taha on there, it kind of adds, it makes it exaggerated. Like, I haven't seen you in a long time. But when you say hupakitaha, it's like saying, I haven't seen you in a long time. Or maybe it's actually been a long time. Maybe I haven't seen you since I was 3 years old. And I'm 33 now. It's been 30 years. So I can say, Akchipiso na hupakitaha, like I haven't seen you in a long time. So that's our phrase for tonight. Well, our non-instructional phrase. Okay. So today or tonight, we keep saying today like it's still daylight, but it's nighttime. We're going to learn about basic sentence structure. And so you guys can take a look at this packet here. I made it for you guys so you can understand what we're going to talk about. But I'm not going to really use this. I'm going to reference this a little bit, but our main focus is going to be on our new vocabulary. So before we get into our new vocabulary, let's try to do a little bit of a fast review. So does anybody remember what anupali was? To speak or to talk. Okay. What about haklo? To hear, right? Or to listen. And so what about impa? To eat. Oh yeah, we like to do that. What about apa? To eat it or eat something specific. When you're naming your item that you're eating, you say apa, because impa is just a general word for eat. And so remember, if I say impale, I'm just saying I'm eating. You don't know what it is, you just know that's what I'm doing. But if I say akanka apale, you know that I'm eating chicken. Akanka apale. So whenever you're naming the item that you're eating, you use apa. Okay? What about wakaya? Stand up. Yeah, wakaya. Stand up. What if I said ho wakaya? Everybody stand up. Okay. What about issa? Quit or stop. So if someone's pestering you, just say issa, issa. All right. So what about? Let's see. What else do I have? Achi. To say, okay? What about makachi? To say that. Yeah, there you go. But sometimes it could be just used as say it. So, but more so say that, okay? What else? What else is there? Taloa? Yeah. What's taloa? To sing, okay? But also could mean what? A song. Could also mean a singer. So taloa, song, singer, sing. What else is there? Yeah, pisa. Pisa. What does that mean? Look. Yeah. And so if I see something over there, I'll say, pisa. Look. Yeah, look. And so I think that, is there anything else we have? Ima. To give to him, her. What about ama? To give it to me, yeah. And then someone said, huh? Itama. Yeah, itama. Give it to me. Istolisochi. Chimis Joholisochi itama. Give me your pencil or your pen. Okay, what about nosi? Sleep. Yeah. Funny thing is though that nosi has a double meaning, but the other one doesn't get used that often. Does anybody know that nosi also means acorn? Acorn. Yeah. Acorn. Acorn, not an acorn. A. No, just kidding. No, but so yeah, if you say like funny at nosi apatok, then you're saying a squirrel ate an acorn. But obviously, context will help you understand which one you're using. Like if I said, Pilashash, achugma ho nosili tukkia, like or something like that. You're saying, I didn't sleep that well last night. Agnosotog is what I really would say, but nosili. So you would understand that's to sleep, right? Yeah, spell the same. Nosi, Nusi for both sleep and acorn. Okay? And I think that covers a good majority of it. And so today we're going to learn about subject markers. Does anybody know what subject markers are? No? Well, good, because that's what we're going to talk about. So I am kind of referencing this paper, and I put it on my Facebook if you guys want to like download a copy for yourself if you didn't grab one. Speaking mostly for the YouTube live people. But basic sentence structure, whenever you think about English, and we're going to do a little English class here. So in English, most of the time, it's going to be SVO. Does anybody know what SVO stands for? Subject, verb, object. And I kind of broke it down what those individually mean because sometimes whenever I first started learning, someone said subject, verb, and object. I was like, what is a subject? What is a verb? What is an object? Because I kind of forgot what that was. Been out of high school for so long, so I forgot. But subject, we'll kind of get into it. Subject is basically the person, place, or thing that is doing an action. So if I said, Hatakmat Anumpule, so that man is talking, who is the subject? That man, okay? And then verb, in that same sentence, if I said, Hatagmat Anumpule, what is the verb? Anumpule, okay? Because the verb is what? An action. So anything you can do, any action. An object is something that's being done to or affected by the subject. And so in this case, the example I used was, even though it's there, I'm going to write it down. Is eating. And I'll put bread down here. Cool. Can you spell? All right. So this is in that sentence structure right there. So subject, you got the subject right here. So that comes first. Okay? And then we're going to not worry about is right now. Okay? And then verb, what is the verb? Eating. Or you can even put that in there. Is eating. And then the object is what? Bread. Okay? So the man is the subject, the verb is eating, and the object, which is being affected by the subject here, is bread. Okay? And so that's how most English sentences are constructed. Okay? But in Choctaw, the verbs always like to come at the end. So in most, pretty much like 99% of cases, the verbs will go at the end of your sentence. So instead of subject, verb, object, it's going to be subject, object, verb. And so in that same sentence that we're using, we're going to do it in Choctaw. Okay. Hatagat palaska apa. Hatagat palaska apa. So we're going to go over some of these words here. Maybe not palaska just yet, but so this is saying the same thing. The man is eating bread. So what is the subject here? The subject is the thing that is doing the action. So what is doing the action? Hatak. Because if you don't know what hatak means, it means like man, or it also can be like mankind, human, or whatever. In some cases, we just do it as man. So hatak. So remember the order: subject, object, verb. So this tells you what's going to be next. So what is palaska? Ah, the object. Yeah. You gotta speak louder. I can't hear. So the object is palaska, which palaska means bread. And then the verb, we all know apa. Apa, which means to eat it, is eating it. Okay? And so this is the basic sentence structure for Choctaw. And I say in some cases it might not be like this because if you're talking about yourself, then you would say Muska. So you say Palaska apale. Those are generally the only cases where the subject goes to the end of the sentence. So I. So it kind of tells you what it is. But so the subject markers, all they do is just mark the subject. A lot of times people try to put words to them to make it sound like something or whatever. Like if I go back, this sentence here, Hatagat palaska apa. So some people might try to say ut means like is or a or the or something like that because it kind of makes sense a little bit. Man is eating bread, but to me that gets kind of confusing only when you say something like all right, let's see. When you say something like Josh at Palaska Apa, because you can say is and it still makes sense, but sometimes it's like Josh a bread eating or something like that. It sounds weird. So sometimes people use is for uts, but I kind of just say it just marks the subject. So example I have, I think I have it in here somewhere. Oh yeah. So just going back to that sentence. Yeah. Hatak. And so sometimes like the reason why I'm really bringing this home is because this is a situation that might happen. So some people might say it like this, Hatak palaska apa. And so this could mean a couple of different things. But to me, it just means like it's an unfinished sentence. Because what it means to me is like if you say palaska or hatak palaska apa, it's like the man eating bread. That's what it sounds like to me whenever you say it like that in Choctaw. Because nobody's doing anything in this because you don't have a subject marker. You don't have the marker to tell you who's doing what. And so this sentence right here is basically saying the man eating bread. It's like, and then somebody's going to ask you, okay, what about the guy that's eating bread? What's he doing? So that's why these subject markers are important. And so that's why we put an ut. Now it's saying the man is eating bread. But also, if we leave this out, this could also mean a different thing. It could also mean he or she is eating man bread. So that's weird, right? Why would you say that? And so you wouldn't say that in English, so don't say it in Choctaw. So that's why I'm bringing home these subject markers, because they're important. They're important. And so we have 3 different kinds. So I'm going to do SM for subject marker. We have ut. And I think we kind of went over this once before, but I just want to reiterate it because this is what we're going to start getting into. Yet. And then sometimes hut. So there's a lot more than this. I'll just say there's a lot more subject markers than just these, but these are just the basic ones. These are the ones that are going to help you get started. And so, ut, does anybody know why would you use one or the other? Nobody? And so, basically, these kind of can go together, but they all mean the same thing. They all have the same function. You'd use ut if the word that comes before it starts with a consonant. Okay? And then you would use these two if the word that comes before it starts with a vowel. And so, to give you examples of that, we just did hatak, at. Let's just do apa. We'll exclude the bread for right now. So hatagat apa. You see the word that comes before it is a consonant. So that's why we use at, hatak at, because it sounds kind of weird when you say hatak yet apa. It's like your mouth is doing extra things that it doesn't need to do. And so, and then when you use yet and hut, it's when a word becomes in front of a vowel or something. So let's take ohoyo. Does anybody know what ohoyo means? Woman. Okay. Oh. So we would say ohoyo yat. Apa. So you can see that the word that comes before it ends in a vowel, right? So that's why I would use these two. But sometimes this one doesn't get used very often. I guess it's kind of like if it fits, it fits. Because the only time I would use it is sometimes for my name, or if I'm talking about a car for some reason. I don't know why. Because say barely see that. It says anka hat atugma, my car is good. But sometimes you can just kind of like speakers can just feel it. So it sounds kind of weird a little bit when you say anka yet atugma, which still feels good, but it sounds even better when it says anka hat atugma. So you can use both of these, but this one right here is going to be what you're going to use for the majority of the time. Okay. So I'm just gonna leave this up here. Subject, object, verb. And I know this is probably like the most boring part of learning languages. And I do apologize. But it's something that we need to talk about because sometimes if we don't know the structure, then we're just not saying things right. So, but I got some words here for you. And so if you guys want to look at your paper, got some more nouns. First one we got is, how do you say this word? Ufi. Okay. So what is Ufi? Dog. I should have just wrote the words and not the translations. Hey. Yeah, so Ufi is dog, but Ufi by itself can be singular and plural. Okay? So if you said, so if we're talking about subject markers, let me backtrack just a little bit. We're talking about subject markers. What subject marker will we use? Ut or yut? Okay, yut. Okay. Does everybody agree? Why is it yut and not ut? Because the word that ends with a vowel, okay? So we can say Ufiyat Impa. So the dog is eating. Okay. Where was I going with this? Okay. So what about the next word? Who wants to try that one? Katos. Katos. Remember, our O's always make the oo sound. So a lot of times before we go into that, when we see Ufi, I hear a lot of people say Ofi. Ofi. We don't use the English O, okay? We say Ofi. Ofi. Okay? Same thing with this. Katos. Katos. So interesting fact. Do you know where we got this word from? We actually in languages sometimes they borrow words and they make it their own kind of. And so I think I heard somebody say it. We got it from the Spanish because they say gato, gato for cat. So in the same way, we don't use G's. And so instead of say gatos, we just say katos, katos. Okay. Ah, yeah. All right. So let's move on. Katos, and what subject marker are we going to use? Ut. Okay. Yeah. Ut. And why is it ut instead of yut? Because this ends in a consonant, right? Okay. All right. And so we're just going to go through some of these real quick so we can get the pronunciation. I just want to make sure you guys got it. So the next word is what? Hatak. We kind of just went over that. Man. So what did I say about double consonants? You have to pronounce both of them, okay? So hatak. You hear how I'm saying it? Hatak. So let's say it after me. Hatak. 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 Okay. You hear how it says hot tuck. I hear a lot of people sometimes they'll say it like this. They'll say hatak. Hatak. You hear the difference? Hatak versus hatak. 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 We don't want to say it like this. There's double consonants for a reason. So hatak. Hatak. So the best way I could say it is say it low, come up, and then act like you're going back down. Hot tuck. Hot tuck. Hot tuck. Okay? But then when you're speaking, you say hatakuma or hatagmat nani konakiyo. Hey, no, I'm just kidding. All right. The next word is woman. So how do you say woman? We just went through that. Ohoyo. Remember, it's not ohoyo, it's ohoyo. So that vowel sound will stay constant. Ohoyo. So say it after me. Ohoyo. 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 Remember, if you notice, if you say it right, then your mouth will never move. Ohoyo. Except for the Y part, obviously. Ohoyo. Okay? Next is house or home. So how do you say that? Chukka. Chukka. Remember the U makes a short O sound. Oh. Oh. So chukka. So say it after me. Chukka. 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 And remember, it's not chuka. Chuka. I hear a lot of people say this. Even when they say a chukma, they say a chukma. But it's a chukma. A chukma. Likewise, house and home is chukka. Chukka. Okay? Okay, the next one, store. Does anybody want to give that one a try? Ayatatoba. Okay? I'm going to write this one down just because it. Ayatatoba. So remember what I talked about last year about if you're not familiar with the word, how do you know how to say it? You guys remember? How do you huh? Vowels always have the same sound, yeah. But also, you can just break it up. So break it up into syllables. I, it, ta, to, ba. Okay? So say it after me. I, it, ta, to, ba. I, it, ta, to, ba. I, it, ta, to, ba. Achukma, achukma. So now it's not so scary, is it? Okay. The next one I have, well, before we move on, this means store, but it actually just means like a place of trading. Because back then, they didn't really use money, they just traded. So they'd go to some place and they would trade their goods for like, or trade goods for like food or vice versa or whatnot. And so they would go to a trading place. So that's why it's called Ayattoba. But also, if you really think about it, if you go to the store, you're basically trading your money for the things that you want. You can go to Travel Plaza here, trade my money for some Red Bull. So I guess you could say it's the same thing. All right. And then just a little bit further too, Itatoba, that's the word for to trade. I here, the AI, just symbolizes it's a place of. A place of. And the reason why I bring that up to you is because the next one, well, I guess it's not in this next one, but so what's the next word? Aboha. Aboha. Okay, and that means room. Sometimes it also can mean house. Sometimes if someone says, I'm aboha kashofali, I'm cleaning my house. Because to me, kinda when you say tukka kashofili, it's almost like you're cleaning the structure of the house. You're not cleaning the inside of the house. So when you say aboha, it's kind of like the inside of your house. Because your house is a big room, right? Basically. So you can say that aboha kashofili, I'm cleaning my house. But we really know it's like an interior room of your house. So aboha means room, but also can mean office. So Twyla, if you come out of your office, you can say, amaboha, my office. Amaboha. So she says, if I get, if her head gets too explodey and she can't think of anything else, amaboha, yali. Hey, I'm going to my office. Okay? Next one is town. So how do you say town? Tamaha. Okay? Tamaha. Just remember that upsilon is ah. So ta-ma-ha. Tamaha. Okay? And number 9, I'm gonna let you guess because I forgot to write the English. Hey. Ist Holisochi. Ist Holisochi. Anybody want to guess what that is? No, not school. Well, holiso is book. Ist holisochi. So let me break it down. So holisochi means to write. And then isht means an instrument that you used to write with. So ist holisochi means pen or pencil, or in this case, this little plastic thingy. It's my ist holisochi. So that was a great way to that Nicholas Charleston. You guys know Nicholas Charleston. He's the one that kind of came up with the idea. Is like isht kind of reminds you of the instrument of which you do that action. So if you have impa and ishtimpa, what do you think that is? Well, we have a word for fork. The other one, the one that you use for cereal. Spoon, yeah. Ishtimpa, something you eat with. So if I said, let's see, might be another one. Oh, we won't worry about that. But ish tolis suchi, to write, or pen, sorry, my bad. Pen, or pencil, or writing utensil. Okay, and the next word, book or paper, or just any paper product. So how do you say that? Holisso, okay? Holisso. Remember, there's double consonants, so it's not holisso, it's holisso. Holisso, okay? All right, so we got some of our nouns. Let me see. Let's just go ahead and look at these verbs real quick. So to run, how do you say that? Balile, Balile, balile. So let's say it. Balile, balile, balile. So if you ever heard, I know one of my friends, he was talking about this to me yesterday, but he said he was hog hunting, and then I guess he shot, and then of course, you know, if there's a bunch of hogs right there, and you shoot, what are they gonna do? They're gonna run away. And so he was asking me about this. Cool. Well, that's supposed to be a T. I don't know what that is. So if you ever hear anybody say this, Balilit Kania, Balilit Kania, but before I tell you what it is, a lot of the times you might hear it just like this. And then Bali Kania, Bali Kania. So this has what? Balili, Balili, cool. Just made a mess. I don't know how to get rid of it. Okay, so it has balili, but remember, if you got two verbs together, the first one gets a T, right? Just for flow of the sentence. Then kania, does anybody know what kania means? It means to leave or to be gone. And so bali kania, running gone, or basically running away. So basically that's what it's saying. So if you ever hear someone say, Sukamat bali kania, Bali kania, or they might say balilit kania. That means it ran away. It ran away. Anyways, What's the next word? To drink. How do you say to drink? Ishko. I hear sometimes people say ishko, ishko, but it's ishko, ishko. Remember, your mouth always gets rounded out when you say the O's, ishko. So, I guess for a couple of years, I guess sometimes this kind of be almost borderline taboo to say ishko by itself, because when you say ishko to somebody that knows Choctaw, they're going to think that you're talking about drinking alcohol. So sometimes you got to be weary about it. But, you know, if you're not around that stuff, then people don't generally talk about it. And so sometimes that's why I always say, like, Anato Dr. Pepper ishkuli. Like, I'm drinking Dr. Pepper. And so, but if someone will ask you, you want to go ishko, you know what they're talking about. They're talking about let's go get drunk and let's go have a few drinks or something like that. So, but ishko, to drink. So you can say ishkole, I'm drinking whatever it is, or you can say nanta ishishko, what are you drinking? What are you drinking? Okay. Next word is to read. To read. So remember, this is one we had trouble with one time. How do you say this? What does the E sound make? E, right? So ho chifo. Ho chifo. And why did I say that we're struggling with this one a little bit? Because there's hochifo and there's also hochafo. Hochafo means to be hungry. Hochifo means name, and hochifo means to read. So that's why these vowel sounds are important. You got to remember that. So hochifo, hochifo, hochifo. Then if we say name, ho-chi-fo. Remember the I makes it not the E sound. Ho-chi-fo, ho-chi-fo. Then also ho-cha-fo, ho-cha-fo. So there's basically spelled the same way. The only difference is the vowels right down the middle. Hochifo, hochifo, hochafo. Okay? So let's say hochifo, hochifo, hochifo. Okay? And that means what? To read, yeah. So how would you say I'm reading? Hochifole. How do you say you're reading? It's hochifo. Okay? How about he's reading? Ah, hochifo, yeah. Just hochifo. All right? And so that's kind of why we're getting into these subject markers, because that's going to help you realize that, you know, when we say hochifole, it means I'm reading, right? But if you say ish hochifo, that means what? You are reading. Yeah, you are reading. So when you just say hochifo, that can mean he or she is reading, right? So if we want to be specific on who he or she is, we can say hatagat hochifo. Does that make sense? Because now you're adding a subject. So even if I said, Hochifo, someone's like, who's reading? So I can say Josh at Hochifo, Josh is reading, or Hatag mat Hochifo. So now adds context to who's doing the reading, but we can't use those subject markers when you already have a subject in place. So someone was going to say something like, they were talking to me and they said, Josh at Ishwachifo. Does that make sense? Josh at Ishwachifo. It doesn't make sense because if we look at it, so now if you take into consideration English, then we would say Josh is you are reading. Does that make sense in English? Like Josh is you are reading. But like I said, I'm talking to you. And I say, Josh is you are reading. Like doesn't make sense. And so that's why this doesn't make sense either. And so you would just omit this and say Josh at Pochifo. Josh is reading. But if you want to tell me that I'm reading, you can just say Ish Pochifo, which means you can just like if I bring that back, if I want to say you are reading and you're telling me, then I could just omit that. Ish Pochifo. So I'm trying to help you understand that use your subject markers, but remember with subject markers, you can just say the verb by itself. You don't need ish or you don't need li and stuff like that. And so, but we're not going to get into that right now because that's a little more advanced. But does that make sense? Does anybody have any questions right now? Is anybody stumped? Is anybody scared to move on? Hey, no, see it. I know this could be a lot sometimes because learning grammatical things is not the prettiest thing in the world. It's not the glamorous thing in the world. And I understand that. But once we get past this, we're going to start making some sentences. And it's going to be easier. Then you can say something like, oh, Palashash, Sabat Tuksali Yamat, Nana Amachik Ma, Josh, Nana Chimasita Samanna. I was like, oh, Umi, Amasitha. Anchuka Ishianaho. Can you go to my house? And I'll say, oh, Chinchuka Yala Hinla Nanta Hoyo Lachi or something like that. And then he'll say something like, oh, Hatagmat Nana Ahun Kupa Hadago I guess Iholbat Tuba Pesasabana Anchuka Ishiagma or Ishia Hadago or Hadagosh Holbat Toba Yama Ish Huyahina or something like that, I'm just making up a wild story, so it might not make sense, but I'm just saying you can get to that point if you kind of learn basic sentence structures and stuff like that. Hatagat nosi. So what is that saying? Hatagat nosi. Man is sleeping, okay? How about Ohoyo yet anompole? Oho, yeah, the woman is speaking. I almost said it back in Choctaw. Okay, what about Katosat Impa? The cat is eating. Okay. What about Katos pinsale? See, now I'll throw you guys off. Katos pinsale. That's not apa or ipa. I see a cat. Katos pinsale. Pinsale. I'm not saying katos apali. I'm not gonna eat no cat. Katos apa samanakia. All right. And then the last verb I have for you, I think we have just 10 minutes left. So we'll just go through this real quick. To sit, what actually kind of made an error on here, it's to be sitting. Or to be sitting. And so I put one person on there because I don't know if you guys remember me telling you, there are some verbs that have one person doing something, two people doing something, and three or more. So we'll kind of get into this just a little bit, not too much. So, Banili. So let's say that first. Banili. Banili. You hear how like that I. Banili. Banili. It's not Banili. It's Banili with your nose. Banili. Okay? That means to be sitting. So there's also, I'll do it over here. Banile. Banile. So let me get this chair right here. So this is the action, and this is when the action is completed. So this is Banili, this one right here. Banili. That's what I'm doing. Banili. Banili. See that? This one right here, when I Banili, now I'm Banili. Does that make sense? So when I'm going down, that's Banili. But when my caboose is on the chair, that's when it's Banili. Okay? So this is the action, then it goes into this one right here. Banili, Banili. I know I kind of flip-flopped them and I should have wrote it the other way, but I'm sorry. But action. So Banili, when he's sitting down, and when he's sitting down on the chair, it's Banili. Banili, okay? So the reason why I say that is because there's the action words. I'm gonna just put A right here, A, and then action completed, AC. Well, I need some AC right now, A. And so I'm just gonna give you guys a brief look into what some of these dual and plural verbs look like. A lot of the times, when it's the action of, you're doing the action, most of the time you'll only have two. In most cases, as far as I know, you only have two. So you have Banili, and then you have Binohle. Binohle. So this is one person sitting down, and this is many people sitting down. Binohle. Binohle. And then for sitting, when you're actually sitting down, so me by myself would be Banili, one person. Two people would be Chinya. Chinya. So I can say Hatak Tuglo Ilapat Chinya. Even though I said Hatak, it kind of means two people. Does that make sense? Because I'm not going to say Hatak Micha Ohoyo yet Chinya, which I could say that, but I could say Hatak Tuglo Pat Chinya. So that means two people are sitting. They're sitting down right now. And then we have three or more. So if it's three, 4, 5, 6, 7, 10, 30, 100, then you're going to say Benohmaya. Benohmaya. So that means if I look at all of you, I can say Hush Benohmaya. Hush Benohmaya. That means you guys are all sitting down. You guys are all sitting down. And so if you go into an auditorium and you see all those kids sitting down and you don't see one of them standing up, you can say, Woo, Allah Yamat Benohmaya. All those kids are sitting down. Allah Tihamat Benohmaya. They're all sitting down, which is a chugma. Hey. But those are what I mean by dual, single, and plural. Does that make sense? I know it's going to be weird at first, and we're not going to get in too much into it because this is difficult. This is hard stuff right here. And I don't want to scare you, but like, yeah, that's one person. For two people, you say Itiachi, Itiachi, and then for three people, Escole, 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 which a lot of people have trouble saying that LH, Escole, Escole. So we have just 5 more minutes, but the TH sound or the LH sound, the aspirated L sound, the barred L sound, whatever you want to call it. They used to teach us that if you wanted to say it right, put your tongue behind your front teeth and just blow out air. But to me, I feel like it doesn't give the right sound because my tongue kind of feels like it's back a little bit. So if I do it like that, like the way they say, like if schooly, I mean, you can feel it, you can feel the air coming out, but the way it's said, it's kind of like ish. You see, like my tongue is not up here. I don't know if you can, but if I have bad breath, but anyway, hey, no, so ish. So you should feel air coming out the sides of your mouth. Ish, ish. And so I don't know the best way to describe it without sounding rude, but if you know somebody that has a list, they might say it like something is wrong or something like that, you know. Or if you ever see people try to make fun of people with lisps, it's kind of like that, but you put your tongue a little bit further in the back of your mouth and ishkoli, ishkoli, and words like shanko, shanko means to be strong, obviously. Some people say thamko, thamko, but also I've heard some people say salamko, and I'm like, I don't think that's right. But we didn't get into the adjectives, but I just kind of wanted to go over subject markers. And I know we didn't really do a lot of speaking today, which is kind of a bummer for me, but because there's a difference between studying the language, there's a difference between that and speaking the language. So if I keep teaching you guys this without making you guys speak it, then all you're doing is just learning the grammar, learning how to write it, and all that stuff. And that's good and well, but if I never teach you how to speak, then you're just never gonna say anything. So that's why, like, if you see each other, always say "Halito chimachukma, amachukma," and I know it's a repetitive thing, and I want you guys to get in the habit. Make sure you say amachukma. Okay, I hear people say all the time, "Achukma hoki," which that means great, great. It kind of means that. But you want to say, Amachugmahoki, I'm great, or I'm good, or something like that, okay? And these are these little things that, you know, I say they're little, but they have big impacts a lot of times. And so I don't want you guys to get discouraged. I love that you guys came back. I love that we have new people here. Hope you guys come back. Hope you guys didn't run you off. Hey, yeah, I promise it's usually funner than this, but and my English is not compared to my Choctaw because sometimes I can't even speak English good. So, but do I have any questions about what we just learned? Any concerns? Any gripes, moans, complaints? Any headaches? Hey, I was kidding. I mean, if that's it, then I'll say Yakuki. Next week, even is next week Martin Luther King Day? We should be able to still do that. Oh, you guys are not off? Okay. So I'll be off, but I'll still be here. So we'll be here next week and we'll try to put some of this into use, okay? And we'll go over more of the adjectives and stuff like that. But I just want to say, even though it's the beginning of the year, I'm kind of excited to see where this goes. Our class, when we first started, you guys remember how many people were in here the first time? There was like 49 people I had on my sign-in sheet, and then each week it just got progressively smaller and smaller. That's the thing too, is that people have things to do. People don't put this in their week-to-week plan or whatever, and that's okay. And people get busy, and that's fine because life happens or whatever. And so I'm not expecting everybody to be here every week, especially if you got hospital visits or you're in pain or your sickness and stuff like that. So, but I'm glad you guys keep coming, and I'm glad that I can still provide something because I'll tell you this. Probably about a week ago or so, I wasn't sure if I wanted to do this because it was kind of hard for me to keep going because I'm also like I don't want you guys to feel bad, but I'm also neglecting my learning too. But that's because I'm working, doing other things, and I don't blame this class at all. I'm not trying to say that. I'm just saying that I hope I can keep doing this because I want to teach you guys as much as you can or I can so you can get conversational because that's all I am right now. I'm just conversational. I'm not fluent by any means. I can't hold deep conversations. I can't talk about political things. I can't talk about this. But what I can do is talk about everyday things like going to the store, buying groceries, uh, you know, eating some pizza or something like that, getting fat. Hey, no, I'm just kidding. But but I want you guys to keep coming because it get one of my buddies, he said a lot of people enjoy your teaching, and a lot of people enjoy that you're putting yourself out there for Choctaw language. And if they don't have that, then they might not continue on with it. So that kind of put a fire in me to say, well, I got to do it now. I got to keep doing it because it's not just for me, it's for y'all. And so I want to do that for you. So I'll quit my yapping. Ano palit isa sa manna eh. Or ano pa ano paligat amachugma. I like to talk, so all right, so Yamakalla, that's it. And next week, Ma, Hachpi Salachigi. Ome. Study your vocab. Study your vocab. Hey. Ome. Yakuki. Thank you guys for stopping by. I hope it wasn't too boring for y'all. um, but we'll be here next week. So if you guys want to join again next week, make sure you're here. Yakuki. I'll see you guys next week. Hachpi Salachigi.